I'm Brenda,
And I'm Megan.
and we're the badass babes of entertainment.
Let's be renegades, reckless, running through our veins. Let's be renegades, good for nothing, runaways. That girl got her own bag.
It's good to finally see you.
I
Like,
know, we get
like
to meet properly in person now.
I know, well, sort of,
It's
at
a long
least,
time coming.
Zoomish.
Zoomish. I mean, like in the pandemic, this is normal, right? So
Yes, that
it is
it
what
kind
it
of
is.
became, the new normal, and
Zoom
uh,
introductions.
exactly, right? Exactly. So Bianca, we've been talking for a long time, and
Such
it's
a long time.
such a long time. So great to finally meet you. Welcome to the Badass Babes of Entertainment.
Thank you.
And
Thank
today
you.
I am flying solo. Megan is sick, and so she wasn't feeling well. And then my little co-host had his tie on and everything, and then he decided that he wanted to go lay down out in my office instead. So he left. That was Swanee the
It's
poodle.
just us. That's fine.
So yeah, so it's just us gals today. But
Just gals. That's fine.
yes. I mean, you have so much going on right now, and I know you've been kind of back and forth to the US and then to Europe. You've been everywhere and back and forth. Are you back and forth to
There is
Australia as well?
no, I haven't been back to Australia, not since I left. I left Australia in September and I haven't been back. And I've got the pangs of homesickness starting now.
I bet.
I mean,
I
Australia's
bet.
Australia. Have you been?
I have. It's been a long
Yeah.
time. In fact,
You
I was
just, it's like the
yeah.
place, your heart kind of longs for it a little bit. So
Yeah, it's been like
when we were
20 years.
yeah, you haven't been back in 20 years.
20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's time.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
time. Yeah. It's only been months for me and I'm already going, okay, when can I go back?
So is all your family in Australia?
No, no.
No.
My family's everywhere, really. I have half in Brazil
Oh,
and
wow.
half in Australia. So dad and my siblings and my stepmom, they're in Brazil, and have been since I was 8 years old.
Oh,
So
wow.
Brazil's my second home.
That is very cool. You've been kind of everywhere then.
Yeah, I
A
mean,
lot.
virtually, yeah. Except, when I was just in the UK and Europe, it was the first time I'd ever been. And I think I blew everybody's heads off every time. It's my first time. And they looked at me in shock each time, like, what do you mean this is your first time in in the UK? I'm like, ever. Yeah, ever. I'm like, what are you talking about? But you're Australian. Like, yeah, well, like, when your family live on the other side of the world, you tend to
Right.
kind of lean in that direction. So I've spent a lot of
Yeah.
time in the US, a lot of time in South America, but I just never quite got to the other side of the world.
Wow. Well,
Hmm.
I'm glad you're finally back here. Because
Yes.
I know you were gone for so long. So what part of LA are you in?
I'm in West Hollywood.
West Hollywood. Okay, great.
West Hollywood, yeah.
Great.
It's a really nice spot. I mean, I'm still coming to terms with Los Angeles.
Yeah. It's different.
It's it's a thing,
It is a thing.
It's
It's its own thing.
it's its own thing. And like what I wasn't expecting was the skin issues. And I know that sounds really strange, but the
Yeah.
more people I speak to, the more I realize it's actually a really well-known problem when you move to Los Angeles. You have skin issues, hair issues, and everything's quite all over the place. So that's been interesting. I landed, I'm like, what is going on in this city? So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a bit weird to get used to, but it's all settling now. LA's growing on me.
Good. Good. Well, I'm glad you're here and it's exciting because, Bianca Wallace, for everybody out there who has not met Bianca yet, she's an actress, she's a filmmaker. And tell us more about what you did. You said that you worked with someone on the production of Elvis. Is that
Yes,
correct?
I worked
Tell
on Elvis,
Yeah.
which
Tell me
was
about
really
that.
cool. Actually, I feel like Elvis was it was such a big deal for me because when I started in the industry, I'd only started 2 years earlier, very late into the industry and still learning. And I was sitting outside on my balcony when I found out that I wasn't well, and I found out about it, and I decided, you know what, I've got to do something about this. I've got to do something about my life. I've got to change something, and that's why, obviously, I realized life is short. I dreamt of acting, and that's sort of what, that's what triggered it all. And I was sitting on the phone with my mum outside really early one morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, summertime Australia. And I said, Mum, within 5 years, I'm going to work with Baz Luhrmann.
Wow.
And I said, I'm gonna make that happen. I'm gonna make sure that within 5 years. And I think it was probably about a year later, we found out about the Elvis project, and I emailed my agent immediately. And I was like, I have to get on this production. And then I think it was like a year and a half after that, again, that it actually happened. And I was
Wow.
walking off the set with Tom Hanks. Not, I'm not trying to name drop here. This is just part of the story.
Yeah, just who was in
And
it?
just casually strolling off with Tom Hanks. And I told him that story. I said, I didn't tell him that I was sick. I
Mhm.
just told him, I only started acting 2 years ago, and I made a promise to myself that within 5 years I'd work with Baz Luhrmann. And he turned to me, and it was quite a boisterous character, and he
Mhm.
was very
He was.
excitable. And he turned to me and he just blew up, and he just went, "You did it in two! You did it in two!" And it was such an exciting moment. And I just remember I just had such a great time. It was a couple of days on the set, and everybody was as lovely as I expected. And it was as fun and as Baz Luhrmann like as I
Uh-huh.
expected.
That
So
is.
it was such a beautiful experience, honestly. If I could relive it, I would.
So what role did you play on the film?
I played an assistant at the NBC. So the NBC studios, there was the binder, the new management team for Elvis.
Uh-huh.
So I played the assistant for them at the NBC studios. So
Oh, fun.
it was very small but very precious. I think we filmed over a couple of days. I think we filmed maybe 8 scenes, and if I have to be honest, I haven't actually seen the movie yet. So I don't actually know what made it, what didn't. But regardless, it was just incredible.
Well, I did see the film, and it was absolutely amazing. The lead actor was just mind-boggling at
Yeah.
how intense and how dedicated he
I've heard
was to that
nothing but good things.
role.
Yeah. I've heard
It was
nothing but good things.
yeah,
I
it was
only met him really
mesmerizing.
briefly, but I remember, I do remember saying, because he kind of just popped his head in, like, hey,
Uh-huh.
hey, running in, goodbye, you guys look great. But he had his Elvis voice going. And I remember just going, swoon. Are you kidding me?
Yes. Right?
Oh my goodness. But I remember the voice, and it was quite haunting. And I remember thinking, oh, wow. And that was what I was, my feedback after filming was, oh my God, his voice was another level, just kind of run chills up your spine.
Yes, I heard that, after he was done filming, he had to take time off to
Yeah, I
kind
heard the
of
same. Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, it was an intense production, it was huge, big. It was it was a big production. Plus the fact that I think I can't actually remember if they'd started filming before COVID shut it down. But I was literally driving to my costume fitting the day Tom Hanks announced he had COVID. And my agent called me, B, have you left? And I said, yeah, I'm in my car. And she said, turn around,
Oh,
shit's gone down. And I went,
yeah.
oh, okay. And yeah, sure enough, I think it was, 7 hours later that
Right.
evening, it was Tom Hanks has COVID. And
and it was such a big thing because he was one of the first celebrities to really
Yeah.
announce that he
Yeah.
had it, and we didn't know at that point what was happening with it or how
Yeah.
dangerous it was, and, you're thinking, "Oh
It
my
was a weird
god."
time, wasn't it? It
It really
was it was
was.
so confusing and heightened, and
It
I
was.
mean, it was a bit terrifying. But thank
Yes.
God we've kind of come through it, kind of.
We're on, like,
Sort
strain
of.
number
We're like,
57 and
yes, we've got a new strain out, but
yeah,
should we
like,
keep
we've got
living?
this now, right?
It's hard to know what to do. I mean, at
Yes.
the moment, Yo and I, we don't do anything. We don't go out. We don't go to restaurants. We're still in that kind of like paranoid zone of it all.
Right.
Um, Plus, I've got the compromised immune
Yes.
system, so we just take it easy. We stay outdoors really, and that's about it. So that's what we've decided to do until further notice,
Yes.
indefinitely.
Until it kind
I'm
of
not really mad
stops.
about it.
Yeah. I know, you're like, "I have to stay home and relax.
I
I'm
mean, like,
sorry."
oh, what a shame.
So now you're an actress, a filmmaker. Tell us about the film that you're involved in right now. This is like a labor of love, something you've wanted to do for a long time.
It is. So it's called A Ray of Sunshine. Um, it came about because it actually came about. I've been a writer forever. I've always written. It's a little passion of mine. I used to write mostly poetry,
Hmm.
um, and screenwriting started. I'm going to say about 3.5, 4 years ago now. Um, but A Ray of Sunshine began because everybody in my life kept saying everything was getting more and more dramatic as
Hmm.
time was going on. So I went through the multiple sclerosis diagnosis,
Right.
um, and I haven't spoken about it publicly yet, and I will one day when I'm ready. But I was in an abusive marriage,
Hmm.
and which I mean, I know you know a lot about.
Right.
It's not something I've discussed yet publicly, but that the diagnosis, it came on so hard and fast and so aggressively, and it was so each incident was so I'm laughing because I don't really know how else to respond to how intense it all got. But as my marriage was crumbling and the diagnosis was worsening, um, everybody around me just kept saying, this is so unbelievable and so shocking that you genuinely need to write about this. You need to write a book or you need to make a movie. Like, this is so crazy.
Right.
Um, and I think it was probably like the sixth or seventh person that said to me, "Holy shit, you need to write about this." That I
Yeah.
kind of went, maybe I should, and I did. I wrote it. I wrote a story,
Wow.
and it was and is it's actually being edited at the moment. The script's being edited at the moment. But the original story, it ended up kind of being a little bit more of a, I guess it was like therapy for me. It really helped me to see the humor in what I was going through as well,
Right.
because I like to laugh about things. As you can see, when things get a bit awkward, I kind of just start laughing. Um, I'd prefer to laugh than cry. And
Yeah.
so as I was writing it, I started to see the funny side of what was actually going on. It was such a dark time. And what I was going through was not at all funny. It was
Right.
terrifying and it was awful. Um, but I was able to approach it in a way that it kind of took the power out of the abuser and the diagnosis, basically.
Right.
And that's what it did, and it ended up turning into something pretty special. And lovely Jimmy came across it, and while he was working at Disney, and so I sent him the concept version of the script, and he he just loved it, and he said, this is so important, so necessary, and it's done in a way that it's not done, it's not out
Hmm.
there. Nothing like this is really out there. um, And so, he really found a spot in his heart for A Ray of Sunshine. And that's when it really started to transform from there. And I think it was probably about a year of back and forth with Jimmy and edits and
Hmm.
discussions and ideas, um, that it genuinely turned into something special. Then Johan, my boyfriend,
Hmm.
he actually, when we first met,
Hmm.
we discussed it. I told him about it.
Right.
We discussed a lot of my writing and work, acting, all that kind of stuff. And so he knew a lot about it, but he didn't know anything about it at the same time. And so I gave him the concept script at one point, and as well. And he called me and he said, Bianca, I've just read A Ray of Sunshine. Oh my goodness. How can I be involved?
Aw.
And yeah, we weren't together at this point.
Right.
And so that was really special as well. I sort of that's kind of what made me feel like, okay, there's something to this. There is It felt important to me, but that's purely because it was a lot to do with my life and my experience.
Right.
But to hear other people and to get that kind of feedback of, oh, okay, well, there's something here, it's exciting.
That is exciting. That is
It is
very
exciting.
exciting. Our show sponsor today is Roasted Luxury. And this coffee is so freaking good. I can't even begin to tell you. You'll never have to leave home again for coffee. And it's organic, fair trade, and small business, which we love. This is a good thing. They offer honey processed coffee, which means that the coffee is naturally sweeter. So you badass babes can add less sugar and have that second or third cup without the guilt, which we also love. Go to roastedluxury.com and use promo code BABES15 for 15% off your entire order. And you can feel good about helping a local business person who is also a badass babe. Yes. So thanks so much to Roasted Luxury for being our very first sponsor on Badass Babes of Entertainment. So when the film is done being edited and it actually comes out, where will we be able to see it?
Oh, I don't know yet. I don't have the answers to those. Those are Jimmy Gadd questions.
Got it.
Those ones are Jimmy Gadd questions. So we haven't shot the film yet. It's being
Okay.
edited. The script
Oh, the
has
script. Okay,
the
so you have
script
not
has
shot
been
it yet.
edited. We
Okay,
haven't shot it yet. We're shooting next year if all goes to plan. So
gotcha.
Jimmy's a very busy man. So he's a producer.
Mhm.
He's got one project that has to film before A Ray of Sunshine.
Okay,
So
and
we're second in line.
you're second in line. And do you have any idea where you're going to film it at?
We're filming it in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And look, don't quote me on this one, but Jimmy wants to shoot it as well in Finland.
Ooh,
So look,
interesting.
I'm at the moment, I don't know much about producing. That is, I have to leave all of that in his court.
Right.
So when it comes to the production side of things, I'm hopeless. So
By the
he's
time you're done, you're going to be
this is
like
going to be
drinking
my
from the fire
yeah
hose.
this is going to be my like this is my lesson. I'll be watching like a hawk. I'll be like, how'd you do this? What do I do here?
Right.
I'll be very interested to learn, absolutely, but at the moment it's not
Amazing.
that's not my thing.
Hey, it's so great to, be able to start where you're starting because, your opportunities are just going to get bigger and bigger. And it's going to be really interesting to watch you and see where you go from here.
I mean,
Um,
we
yeah.
hope so. We'll see what
Yes,
happens. I have
absolutely.
no
No, that's
I
fantastic.
just have to like relinquish my life to the
Yeah,
universe at this point.
right.
I have to just whatever happens. I'm no matter what, I'm going to try my best and just not stop.
Absolutely.
That's all we
And
can do, right?
no, it's so true. And it's like everything happens for a reason. And,
Yeah.
so many people, you're hearing more and more about MS and people that are struggling with it and, how they are surviving it and, coming out the other side and, finding inspiration from it to, do something amazing. And you've done that with this film. So I
Well,
think
that's
that
what
it's so
that's
great.
the hopefully what
Yeah.
I can help, I what I want to be able to do with not just this film, just my life in general, and
Hmm.
um, you know, being able to help not just people with chronic illness,
Right.
anybody who's struggling in life, anyone at all.
Right.
Um, Chronic illness, obviously, it gives you a different outlook on life,
Hmm.
and depending on what it is you're dealt, I guess depends on how you see yourself and your future and what you're going through. The MS was very confronting,
Hmm.
um, because I lose my leg. You know,
Wow.
um, I I never got the proper use of my right hand back, so that's as straight as it goes nowadays.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so it's very confronting when all of a
Mhm.
sudden your body just stops working.
Right.
I had an absolute kick up the butt when the MS hit. It was just like, what are you doing?
Hmm.
who who are you? You don't even know who you are. You're just sort of floating through life, doing what you think is right. Status quo.
Right.
I got married. I didn't even want to get married. I did it because I thought that's what you're just meant to do.
Right.
And so I think being able to see a little bit more clearly now with the MS and how important life actually is, um, and the way you see things and the way you contribute, um, you're it. You have the ability to direct everything. You don't
Yeah.
actually have to just sit back and take everything that's handed to you. I'd love to be able to make people see that no matter what happens in life, you're going to be dealt shit cards.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a chronic illness. It
Right.
doesn't have to be health related at all. It could be that you lost your dream job, you know?
Right.
It could be that, someone close to you died really unexpectedly,
Yes.
and all of these are so unfortunate and so heartbreaking and so confronting and shocking and at times really debilitating.
Yes.
But what are you going to do with it? That's what I want to help people to try and transform the way they see the bad cards they're dealt in life. You do
Yes.
not have to roll over and become a victim to your circumstances. That
Right.
is the absolute last case scenario in life, because unfortunately it's not going to get you anywhere.
No.
What's going to
Except.
happen?
Right.
So I really want to help people to take their bad luck and use it as fuel. Transform yourself.
Yeah.
Do what it is. Use it as your fuel to, um, you know, whatever you wanted to do in life. Go and do it.
Right. And isn't it funny? It's like it almost sometimes takes something, life altering happening before you realize that life is short. And if you don't do the things that inspire you and make you happy and move you forward, time is going to pass you by and
Yeah,
you can't live your life for other people, and you can't worry about what people think of you or the judgment that people make. It's like we always worry what other people think about us, always. And
exactly
we
right.
have we have to let it go. And
We have to.
no, you just have to be happy and do the best you can with what you have, right? That's, I guess,
Exactly,
the
yeah.
saying.
And I do say that. I say MS. I always say this. And some people look at me like I am a lunatic when I say it. But MS, it truly is the luckiest thing that could have happened, because I now see things in a way that has completely transformed everything about myself and my life. And that's what I'm trying to I try to help people with, don't
Mhm.
wait for your MS to hit, don't
Yeah.
wait for, the accident to happen. Don't wait for the death of a close one. Don't wait for anything. Just
Yeah.
live as if you have absolutely no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, because you don't. You
Yes.
genuinely have no clue. I thought I was invincible. I was
Yeah.
25 years old and I just thought, like, walking down the street, flicking my hair, like, I've got this. And then all of a sudden, I had my ass handed to me.
Yes.
And life went, oh no, you actually don't got this, actually, not even slightly.
Yes. Yeah, and to be so young when that hit, you think that when you get older, okay, fine, things happen to us as we get older. We almost expect it and we prepare for it, but not at 25. And that tends to, I don't want to say age you, but it matures you so much faster, and opens up your mind and your thought process, and you're like,
It
okay, I'm
does.
not going to sit here and wait because maybe, they say a lifespan is like 100 years. Well, maybe we only have 50. We don't know. We
No,
don't know what's
exactly
in
right.
store. And there's a Pink song that I absolutely love, and in it she has a line that says, I can show you how to live like your life is on the line. And I think that we should all live that way,
Oh,
every day. And
preach it. This
yes,
is
and not
exactly
yes,
exactly what I'm trying to get out in the world. I'm like,
because
please
it
don't
is.
wait for your
Yeah.
MS, just go and do it.
Go do it. Go be happy. And I
I
always
do.
tell,
Oh, I
yeah,
just I
younger
stress
people,
it.
yes, I tell younger people all the time, I'm like, you cannot have too much fun. It's like, yes, you have to be responsible. Yes, you have to be
Yes, yeah.
accountable for things, but go have fun and don't worry so much about following, you go to college, you get married, you have kids, you follow this cookie cutter line, because it's just been proven over and over again that that doesn't work. It's like
It doesn't
you're going to
work.
miss out on so much trying to stay on that path. And
Mm,
I think the people that, go through divorce and go through bad marriages and all that realize later on that, okay, I learned something from that and I'm going to grow from that, but,
that's right.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to stay in that anymore. I
You have to
want to,
take from the bad experiences
yes,
and learn from them and grow and evolve, and that's what we're here for, and one of the
yeah,
biggest things that I learned quite early on into the diagnosis, I think I had so many epiphanies during the early days of all of this.
yes,
The first sort of, I'm going to say, the first 3 or 4 months was completely life changing for me. Um, but mine was learning that control doesn't exist.
right.
And
That's
I
very
think,
true.
and exactly,
Yeah.
and I think, people think that you have control over your life. Now,
Mhm.
I guess to an extent that is true. The only thing we can control is, I guess, our lives. But to an extent, that's actually not the truth at the same time.
Yes.
The only thing we have control of in our life, and what I learned, is our reaction to something,
Mhm.
our response to something, and
Yes.
that's it.
Yes.
That is the only control we have in life. We have no control over anything else.
Yep.
And I think relinquishing to that is what really, really changed my life completely. Because I now have a body that I can't control. I don't know what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, when it's going to hit, how it's going to hit.
Yep.
Um, but what I can control is how I respond to each of those moments. You know, I
Mhm.
I couldn't control that I was in a relationship that was abusive. Um,
Right.
I could control that I left
Yes.
only, but I
That
couldn't
part.
control the way. What I meant by that,
Right.
sorry, was I couldn't control the way he behaved
Right.
and treated me and responded to me. It wasn't my responsibility. But it's almost like in life, you just get stuck on that thought of, like, I've got to fix somebody, and I've got to,
Mhm.
I've got to do this, and I've got to take over this. And it's like, well, no, you
Right.
don't have to do anything. You don't have to, you don't,
Yep.
you just have to roll with it. That's it. Bad things are going to happen. yes, that's guaranteed. Um,
Yes.
but how are you going to respond to it?
Yep.
That was it. That was the
Yep.
big lesson. That was the big lesson that I learned, and that I hope to help people, to
Absolutely.
help people see as well. Because you really can get a divorce.
Hmm.
That's actually okay.
Yes.
You don't owe anybody anything, especially when you're being abused.
Right.
Or even not even if you're being abused, sometimes things just run its course.
Yep.
You're allowed to leave. You are allowed to quit your job.
Yep.
You don't owe that job anything at all. You are allowed to start fresh at any stage of your life, ever, at any point. you know so I
That's
think that's
very true.
you know I was in accounting. I was studying a degree in marketing, and I remember in a meeting, just before my diagnosis, things were getting worse. Things were getting worse, with the MS, and I was losing my leg again. I developed a bad tremor, and things were just sort of really rapidly declining. And I sat there in a meeting with my work friends, and I said, if this ends up being multiple sclerosis, um, I'm quitting. I said, I'm just telling you guys now.
Oh, wow.
I said, if this is MS, I'm going to quit my job, and I'm going to start acting. And I was diagnosed with MS. Oh, I think it would have been like 3 weeks after that. And about a month or so later, I quit my job. Um,
Wow.
and the next, actually, very funny story. Um, the day I had signed up with an agent already. So I
Hmm.
was diagnosed and I signed up with an agent, but I was still working. I was doing half days. I couldn't do full days anymore. But I something happened at work, which is something I'll talk about one day as well, but not yet. Um, it you know it Something happened, and I left. I just walked out. Said, I'm done. I don't need this anymore. Um, we are. This is it. And I was quite flustered, quite emotional, very sick, struggling a lot in life. And just walked out. I left. That same day, and this is where I thought, there's got to be something to all of this. That same day, about 2 hours later, I was sitting on the couch and I was crying because my life was just falling apart.
Right.
And my agent called me and she said, B, you've just won your first job,
Wow.
on the same day. And I thought, and I went from, you know, a true, one of those sobbing, hyperventilating kind of crying messes to all of the sudden, like jumping with joy and and excitement, and just going, what just happened? I went from one extreme to the
To
other,
the other.
and it sort of I just never really stopped from there. I took that as my sign,
Yep.
and I thought this must be this has got to be a sign. There's got to be something to this. And I've just rolled with it ever since.
That is just incredible. And I love your story. I cannot wait to see how A Ray of Sunshine turns out. And I think that a lot of people will be watching and cheering you on, and hoping, that you're wildly successful because, it's so great to see people who, take on something that is, affecting their life in, such a traumatic way. And then just, taking it and going head on, into the fire, so to speak, and just, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm not, I'm going, I'm doing it. I'm
I'm
not
gonna
letting
do
it stop me.
it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna do it.
let's just see
And
what happens.
yeah, why not? Right? Why not?
I
And
mean,
that's,
that's the point. Why not?
yeah.
That's what I'm
If,
trying to show people and do,
yeah,
is just, why not try?
yeah. If it
Follow
makes
your
you
heart.
happy, yeah. It's your passion, it makes you happy, you're inspired, and you wake up every day thinking, this is what I want to do. And, I don't think we can ask for more in life than having that and having that spark, because you look extremely happy And I love that, you can talk about, my hand does this and my leg doesn't always work, and but dang it, I'm happy and I'm making this film and
But
I'm
like,
learning
my
all this
dodgy
stuff.
hand got me here, so it is what it
It is
is.
what it is. So amazing, Bianca Wallace,
Thank you, Brenda.
Australian actress, come to LA and going to take on the world, and I absolutely love it. Wrote her own film and making it happen, and all while fighting MS. And I 100% know you're going to come out a winner.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll see.
Yes, no,
We'll see what
absolutely.
happens.
We will be cheering you on, and every step of the way. And yeah, we're going to be right here with you, and we're super
Oh,
proud of you.
thank you. You're coming
Super
along
proud.
with me, so
Yes,
I mean,
we're
you're
doing.
stuck with me, so
We're doing it. We're doing this, and it's
we
gonna
got it.
happen. And yes, and we'll have to show you around LA and some of
Yeah,
the parts that are.
that's the next step. When I'm not so
Yes,
scared to go out and about.
yes. Well, we can do things outside. There's
Yeah,
lots of stuff where you can
good
be outside and distanced,
good
and
thinking.
some great hiking spots where there aren't a lot of people. And I always take
Yes.
my dogs, and it's just beautiful scenery. And
I did
yeah.
Runyon. That was nice.
Yes, yes.
So,
Runyon's great. A lot of people there though.
a lot of
Um,
people, yeah.
Yeah, I know some great spots where there aren't a lot of people. So
Okay,
I will
well, that can be
share.
our first date
Yes, we will do
with the
that.
pups.
We'll take the dogs. They love it so much. And
Yes.
yeah, it's
I
amazing.
can't wait. That
It's
sounds fun.
not too hard of a walk too. So if the leg is giving you,
Oh no, I
some
was gonna say,
issues.
like, I mean, as long as it's not
No,
a too much of an incline, we'll be fine.
no, no, I don't do that.
Yeah,
I try to make it a fun, you know,
yeah.
hike-ish, walkish.
Steady,
So,
steady. That's what
yes,
we like.
yes.
Yeah.
We don't need to trip and fall. It's
Yeah.
all fun and games until somebody
I
takes
will
the
probably
header.
do that. So I mean, it doesn't take much. I
I'll
trip and
hang on
fall
to
on
you.
flat ground just here. So
Oh
it's
Lord, you'll be wearing the knee pads walking around LA.
I know.
I know,
It's
right?
my life. I mean, tripping and falling is what it is. So
Yeah. They'll be like, "Are you going rollerblading?" No, I'm just going for a walk.
no, just walking.
Just
Yeah.
walking, it's fine.
Bumping into the walls is another one.
Oh,
I'm like,
fun.
I swear, I don't drink. It's just the MS.
I'm just a little off kilter. It's fine.
Just one of
But
those days.
well, then you'll fit in with the rest of us because we
Yeah.
all have those issues. So awesome. All right. And for the last thing that we always do on the podcast is we would like you to do a shout out to a badass babe in your world that has helped you on your journey and has inspired you. So who would you like to do a shout out
Oh,
to?
a badass babe. Can it be anybody in the world?
Anybody. Yes.
Okay, it's gonna be my mum. My
Yes.
mum has just been my number one in life. She is just through and through by my side and has supported me at every single turn. So I do have to it's got to be my mum. I mean, she's about as badass as they come. So it's
That
got to
is
be her. I
awesome.
love you, mum.
Yes. And
If you
obviously
ever
she's
watch
made a
or
very,
listen.
yes, made a very strong daughter that can, rise above anything.
She is like, she has taught me everything I know from a young age. So the reason why I am the way I am is pretty well because of her. I mean, of course, I've got the life issues that have gone with it, but my mum is who taught me everything. She's the one that taught me you get what you give. If you do good, you get good. If you do bad, you get bad. That's why she taught me to just, she
Yeah.
respect everybody on every level, no matter who they are. Everybody gets treated the same way. So
Yes.
she is the best. And she is my badass babe. Shout out.
Awesome. Kudos to mom out there.
Kudos
Moms
to
are the
mum.
best. Absolutely. I'm so happy that we finally got to, do the face-to-face
Do
thing,
this,
even
I
though it's
know, me
in a
too.
screen. But yes, so now that we're in at least the same city-ish, yeah, we definitely have to make plans to get outside and do something. And
We will. Let's do
absolutely.
it.
Yes. And you have to see Elvis because now I need
I
to go back and
know.
watch it because
I
I have to
know.
look for you now.
I mean,
So
I have a problem with watching myself. I really struggle with it. So I need to just like get over that. Yo's teaching me to stop that. He's
yeah.
Like, you have to watch yourself. You have to. You
Yes.
just got to do it. So I'm like,
You
"Oh,
just have to do it, and you'll be
fine."
surprised. You'll be like, you know what? I'm okay with
I
it.
think it'll
Go
get
ahead.
easier. It'll get
Yes.
easier as it happens more, and
Oh,
it'll be
definitely.
fine. It'll be
Absolutely.
fine.
Absolutely. All right, Bianca, thank you so much.
Thanks,
And
Brenda. Thanks for having me on.
yes,
It's been fun.
absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
And we'll see you soon.
You'll see me
All right.
soon.
This episode was produced by me, Megan Ketz.
And me, Brenda Fisher.
Thanks to our Grammy-nominated sound engineer, Herman Villacorta. We have another amazing guest next week, so be sure to listen. If there's a topic you would like us to cover, message us on Instagram at Babes of Entertainment, also on Facebook, Babes of Entertainment, and on Twitter, Babe_podcast.
And now TikTok, Babes of Entertainment on TikTok. Woo, woo, woo. This podcast was produced by RSA Entertainment and Rogue Matter. Join the movement. Go Rogue.
Bad girl with a good heart. Lost boy got a fresh start. And she's my gasoline. Slick